Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Liverpool's iconic Liver building and to the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine's very first graduation ceremonies. On the 14th of November, 120 years ago, Sir Alfred Lewis-Jones made the founding donation to establish LSTM as the world's first institution dedicated to the study of tropical diseases. Since then, LSTM has established itself as a global leader, developing pioneering research and training generations of global health leaders who are making a difference all over the world. Today marks an exciting new chapter for LSTM as we confer our own degrees for the very first time, and we're delighted that you can join us for this historic occasion. But first, we have a few announcements to ensure the ceremony runs smoothly. Please ensure your phones are turned off or on airplane mode. The reason for this is that we're live streaming, and so even having them on silent, it may interfere with our sound and quality of the recording. So if you could turn them off, that would be great, so you don't interrupt the ceremony. You're welcome to take photos during the ceremony, but please be aware that there are people sitting behind you, so try not to obscure their view. Sound travels in this room, so do try to be quiet during the ceremony so we can hear everyone's names. You'll be asked to stand for the entrance of the academic procession. Once the stage party are seated on stage, please then take your seats. And at the close of the ceremony, please wait for the academic procession and all graduates to leave the room before following them out to the drinks reception, which will take place in the hour directly after the ceremony. And finally, we're not expecting any fire drills today. So if the alarm sounds, please follow my colleagues in the red gowns down the stairs to assemble in the car park between spaces 1 and 10. Congratulations to all of our graduates, and we hope you have a fantastic afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the academic procession.
Graduands, family, friends, honoured guests, welcome to the first graduation ceremony from the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine. We're actually, as you've already heard, celebrating our 120th birthday this year, so you're not the first graduates who have done degrees with the Liverpool School. That's clearly a very big family, but you are the first to come out from our very own graduation ceremony. And we're delighted to have you all here for this inaugural ceremony. We also don't do things quite like everybody else does for graduation ceremonies like this. And so I hope you enjoyed the drummers to start with. It sets the tone, I think, for the energy and sheer vibrancy of what goes on both in Liverpool and I hope from the experience that you've had as you've done your degrees with us. This is just the start of your journey. As part of the Liverpool School community, I hope you're going to go on from here as great ambassadors for us and for yourselves, but also remember that you will always be part of the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine family. As you go into whatever careers you move to from here, we will be there to support you, not only the staff, but also the other students that you've made friends with over your time here. You will not believe how important those individuals will be to you. And as part of that, we have the second of our honorary graduates here today, Victor Mapassa. You'll hear a little bit more about him on from me. But he's really a beacon of what you could go on to do, the sort of careers that you can have on from here. Many of you will not know what doors will open from here. Some of you will know what jobs you're going back to do, but others won't. But we have actually set you up with the grounding to be able to take on tasks that are going to be important not just to you, but important globally. So I do hope that as you go forward, you will go forward with a lot of confidence from what you've learnt here, but also a great deal of humility as well. There have never been better opportunities in tropical and public health, and all of you can go out there and find where you can make a difference to the world. And in doing so, make sure that you leave the world a better place than you found it. If you do that, then we will have done our job. And going on from here, as you interact with others, you will be doing yours. So welcome very much to this first graduation ceremony from the School of Tropical Medicine. And it's my great pleasure now to pass on to David Lalou, who is going to do the speech for Victor.
President, Chair of the Board, Directors, students, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great personal delight to be able to introduce Victor Mapassa to you. I first met Victor in 2006 when we were looking for an Associate Director for MLW, and there was soon after that we'd found somebody that was really special. Since then, I think he's become an incredibly valuable scientific collaborator, but for me, more importantly, a personal friend, and particularly a friend to MLW. His wise advice has been invaluable in helping us to strengthen the links between the College of Medicine and MLW, and ensuring that the partnership is really well positioned to achieve the most maximum impact on the health of Malawians. Victor grew up in rural Blantyre, and he personally experienced the recurrent challenges of endemic diseases such as malaria and the enormous need for easily accessible health services. He was one of 6 children, and he remembers from an early age, he can clearly describe that his mother was determined that he would become a doctor and that he could address those health problems that he and she experienced in Malawi. And ultimately, this led to Victor studying medicine, initially in University College London, and then undertaking his final year at the College of Medicine. He graduated in 1994 at the height of the AIDS pandemic, determined to become a surgeon. But his posting to Chikwawa in the district in Malawi and as a district health officer had a profound influence on him. and he spent less and less time operating in theatre and more in the community, becoming increasingly dedicated to public health and recognising the impact that community education and community interventions can make on combating HIV and malaria. It was clear, I think, from very early on that Victor had a bright future in research. He stood out as an articulate and a dedicated medical student, and following his DHO postings, his district health officer postings, he took up a faculty scholarship to the University of Michigan in 1999, where he did a master's and then subsequently, because of his success, went on to do a PhD. Malcolm Molyneux, who I'm delighted is here today, who was the first director of MLW, the research program in Malawi, remembers him as an unusual research student, focused and determined, proactive in chasing his supervisors, which Malcolm often needed, and demonstrating that blend of inquiry and originality that defines all first-class academics. And that master's and his PhD research took him into the area of research which has continued really since 2003, undertaking epidemiological and intervention studies into malaria, HIV, and pregnancy, and the interaction of all three of those. He's made a huge personal scientific contribution in this area, and he's been particularly instrumental in supporting the initiatives to reduce mother-to-child transmission of HIV, an area where Malawi has made enormous progress and has stood out amongst many African countries. However, I think it can probably be argued that his broader contribution to Malawian science is even greater. I think it's absolutely typical of Victor that following his PhD, he turned down a very prestigious job offered by the Centre for Disease Control in the US to return to Malawi at considerable financial disadvantage. His incredible work ethic and high standards have led to rapid progression within the College of Medicine and appointment to a chair. And he's now held a number of senior positions, including head of the Research Support Centre and postgraduate dean. Through these posts, he's demonstrated his passionate commitment to developing young Malawian scientists and Malawian scientific capacity. And he's been instrumental in developing the research agenda of the College of Medicine and developing its postgraduate programs to the high level that they've achieved now. Although he's no longer Associate Director at MLW, he continues to support MLW. He helps to advise the current Director, Stephen Gordon, and is instrumental in co-heading the joint MLW College of Medicine Training Committee. His collaborative approach, hard work, sense of fairness and high standards have been recognised nationally and internationally. He's a member of the Medical Research Council Global Health Group in the UK, and he's also been a major opinion leader in Malawi, heavily influential in many public health initiatives. Most recently, he gained a huge personal satisfaction from writing the first comprehensive Malawian HIV prevention strategy. Dedicated to his family and his 4 children, Victor stands out as an African scientist who has genuinely made an enormous contribution to Malawian public health and has dedicated much of his time to ensuring that Malawi has both an emerging critical mass of young scientists and the infrastructure and expertise to conduct the high-quality research that is needed to find a solution for Malawi's and the region's health problems. So, ladies and gentlemen, I put it to you that no one can inspire us more with his dedication and commitment to science in his country. President, Chair of the Board, Directors, students, and ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Professor Victor Mapasa as eminently worthy of the honorary degree of science.
We now come to the conferment of LSTM's awards. Professor Phil Padfield, Dean of Education, will present the candidates to LSTM's President, Sir Richard Evans, CBE.
Thank you, Janet. First, I apologise that I'm dead with a cold, so you can probably hear it in my voice. So I will try my best with enunciation of the names. So, no further ado, Mr. President, it gives me great satisfaction and pleasure to present to you the following candidates who have been certified by the Board of Examiners as worthy to receive the degree of Masters of Science. So, students, please come forward to accept your degrees. Master of Science in International Public Health, Jennifer Flanagan. Master of Science in Biology and Control of Parasites and Disease Vectors, Rosie Christensen. Ruth Cullishaw. Alison Gallagher. Anthony George. Courtney Greaves. Grant Kay. Emma Marlowe. Holly Marshall. Melanie Nolden. Coin Gun Oho. Chelsea Roach. James Rush. Alexandra Shaw. Alistair Somerville. Ho Ting Wong. The following candidate was the recipient of the Jervis Prize for Tropical Disease Biology, awarded to the student with the overall highest marks in the programme, Joanna Fawcett. We now move on to the Master of Science in Molecular Biology of Parasites and Disease, Fraser Coleman. Katie Crossland. Chloe Evans. Zainab Farah. Carla Gilbert Caraballo. Melissa Hale. Matilda Hewitt. William Hutton. Sharon McSweeney. Shivan Murdohi. Rosie Spencer. And Lauren Wilbur. We now move on to the Master of Science in Tropical and Infectious Diseases, Amjad Ad Al-Najed. Ahmad Balawa. Daniel Hernandez Zuniga. Have I gone wrong? Sorry. Farhad Chowdhury. Mustafa Kamal. Ibrahim Soare. Astrid Schulzen. And now we move on to the Master of Science in Tropical Pediatrics. Rhoda Aluabumi Hedebayo. Farah Marum Mata Kimanun. Naho Musoenda. Manensi Patel. The following candidate was a recipient of the John Hay Prize for receiving the highest overall marks in the Masters in Tropical Pediatrics, Bintu Mansero. The following candidate was recipient of the Matthew Luica Prize for receiving the highest dissertation mark in the MSc Tropical Pediatrics, Nelly Dindy. Mr. President, I make application to you to confer the degrees listed on those candidates who have not been presented in person, but whose names appear in the programme and who have indicated that they wish that their degrees be conferred in their absence. I certify that they are worthy to receive those degrees, and I stand as proxy for them. Congratulations to all today's graduates. I will now hand over to the LSTM President, Sir Richard Evans, CBE, to formally admit candidates to their degrees. So.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit to their degrees those presented in person today, and to those for whom you, sir, stand as proxy. I'd like to congratulate all of you who have graduated and to wish you the very best of luck. And I'll now hand over to the Chairman of LSTM, James Ross, for concluding remarks. Thank you.
President, Director, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, many congratulations to you graduates on becoming masters, if not of the universe, of science, and doctors of philosophy. You've got where you are today by dint of hard work and very often a considerable degree of sacrifice by both yourselves and your families. And I'm reminded here of the quip that the first important decision you make in charting a successful life is to choose good parents. So you, your families, and your friends should feel justifiably very proud of where you are today. Congratulations on being part of the very first graduation ceremony of this great institution, which is now 120 years old, and you may feel yourselves somewhat old after completing your courses, but you've got the world at your feet. You've got a lot in common with those for whom the first syllabuses were compiled in 1899. They specified courses for missionaries, for planters, and for others who expect to live in the tropics at a distance from medical men. And talking of medical men, the early syllabuses, when establishing the charitable and humanitarian principles, also stated, in very small print, that the courses were open to fully qualified female doctors. So perhaps they were ahead of their time. Our impact on the tropics must be in the tropics. So said Brian McGrath, who was the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine's longest-serving dean between 1946 and 1975. This was an emphasis that was true to LSTM's founding principles of working in partnership, focusing on local needs, training health workers and setting up strategies and projects that were appropriate to the conditions in the field. Now, you are, all of you, standing on the shoulders of giants, and the name Ronald Ross is, I'm sure, familiar to you. He was the first British person to be awarded the Nobel Prize for Physiology or Medicine in 1902 for his work on the transmission of malaria, and he was Dean of the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine between 1902 and 1913. But there are actually giants nearer to hand. Two of them, in fact, are or have been in this room today, namely the first two recipients of honorary degrees from LSTM, Letitia Obeng and Victor Mapasa. They have a number of traits in common, namely determination, stamina, humility, a blend of inquisitiveness and originality essential in a researcher, a willingness to make personal sacrifices to achieve a real impact on the communities whom they choose to serve. So stand on their shoulders, take your research and teaching and practice a stage further, and become yourselves the giants of the future, that succeeding generations can learn from your example and, in turn, stand on your shoulders. The future is yours to shape. You have a priceless qualification conferred on you today. You're accumulating experience by the day. You have chosen a field of endeavour with enormous scope and potential. The inexorable march of demographics means that by 2050, only just over 30 years away, some 60% of the world's children will be living in the tropics. As Ronald Ross said some 120 years ago, the future prosperity of the tropics depends on their health security. Or to put it another way, the well-being of well over half the world's population is dependent on breaking the cycle of poor health and poverty. So again, congratulations, climb on the shoulders of your predecessors, go and make your mark on the future of this planet, and never forget your time at the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my duty to declare this graduation ceremony officially closed. May I ask you please to stand for the academic procession. Thank you.